Welcome to your exclusive presentation of OABCIG Falcon Athletics on Fuller Digital Solutions.
Alrighty, Fuller Digital Solutions presents OABCIG Meet the Team, Falcons softball, and we have our very first brave Falcon softball player that has decided to step up to the plate, if you will, first. So who am I speaking with?
My name's Abby Winterode.
Abby, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. So let's kind of first, for our viewers and listeners who maybe aren't familiar with who you are, let's go with how old you are, where you're from, who your parents are, that sort of thing.
I'm a senior. I'm from Battle Creek, and my parents are David and Patricia Winterode.
Gotcha. So a senior on the team this year. Kind of tell me a little bit, as a senior, kind of your thoughts on how the year's gone so far.
It's gone okay. We've definitely improved, but there's room to keep improving.
Sure. I mean, let's go with, what positions do you play out on the field? Kind of talk to me where you're at defensively.
I play center field.
Gotcha. So that center field position to me is a little bit different because you're kind of the leader of the outfield, if you will. You kind of have to take charge out there. Is that a role you're comfortable with?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I've played center field since my freshman year, so I'm pretty used to it.
Gotcha. Talk to me about when you get up to bat. Do you have a certain approach or kind of something you like to think about when you're up at the plate?
I just try to tell myself to keep my head down and watch the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you do those two things, obviously contact and hits will follow. Awesome. Any goals that you have, either for yourself individually or kind of from a team standpoint, that you'd like to accomplish the rest of this year?
We have some games coming up that I think as a team that we could do really well in.
Gotcha. Just try to get in the win column a few more times. And then I want to ask all the seniors, obviously you're kind of last hoorah here at OABCIG. Do we have any idea what you're going to be doing here in the fall?
I'm going to Iowa State and majoring in kinesiology.
Awesome. Great to hear. Well, Abby, thanks so much for speaking with me, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thanks.
Thank you. That was Abby Winterode. And just like that, pretty easy, not too much to it. So now our next Falcon, who am I speaking with?
Kylie Sluter.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great. So same thing, kind of start us off, introduce yourself. Let's go parents, how old you are, where you're from.
Okay. I'm Kylie Sluter. I'm a senior, and my parents are Lon and Angie Sluter.
Gotcha. So obviously another senior on the team. Especially in a small school like this, it seems that a lot of you guys play a lot of the same sports together. Yep. Do you think that's a benefit, when it comes to any particular sport season? It's like you guys are always teammates year-round?
Yeah, definitely. It helps that we've already been on a team together, and we already know how to work with each other pretty well, and we get along, so it's nice to play multiple different sports together.
Sure. Talk to me about, your group of seniors. You guys have obviously been here for 4 years now and have, done some great things. So just tell me maybe some of your favorite memories with your core group of seniors here.
Yeah, it's fun to improve together. My favorite memory is probably when we jumped in the pond at Crawford Creek after we won our first game my sophomore year, I think.
Awesome.
So that was really fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, to me, sometimes where your favorite memories, they're not even related to a game or something like that. It's maybe outside of the game, hanging out with the friends.
Yeah, exactly.
So, awesome. Great to hear. Now, talk to me positionally, kind of where you're at on the field.
I play third base.
Gotcha. So kind of that hot corner spot over there.
Yep.
Now, high volume, kind of high workload over there. They're coming at you quick. So what are your
definitely.
thoughts on third base and how you play there?
It's definitely difficult, but as long as you can get your feet to the ball, you're pretty successful most of the time.
Gotcha.
It's been fun.
Talk to me kind of offensively. Do you have anything that you like to think about, or what would you say is really your approach when you're up to bat?
I like to think about keeping my weight back because I've struggled with that a little bit this season, but otherwise just getting my hands to the ball and timing up my swing pretty well. That's helped a lot this year.
Gotcha. You kind of feel there's been an improvement once you started to implement those things and constantly practice those?
Definitely.
Awesome. Great to hear. Any goals you have for yourself or from a team standpoint the rest of this year?
For myself, I want to hit a home run. I've been close a couple times, but otherwise for the team, I just want to have a successful rest of the year and hopefully improve with the time we have left.
Yeah, awesome. Great to hear. Now, same thing. You're a senior. Obviously, we want to know what your plans are here coming up in the fall.
I'm going to the University of South Dakota to major in kinesiology and
Here. Well, Kylie, we wish you the best of luck here the rest of the season and also in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that was Kylie Sluter, another one of the OABCIG Senior Falcons. And now next with the mic, who am I speaking to?
Carter Hemer.
How are you doing, Carter?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. So same thing, kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
My name is Carter Hemer. I'm a senior. My parents are Jory and Susan Hemer. and I'm from Odie.
Awesome, awesome. Great to hear. So talk to me a little bit as a senior, the positions you play defensively.
I play second base and I pitch.
Gotcha. So talk to me a little bit about that pitching position. Now, when you do get the chance and get to pitch inside the circle, what's something you like to think about or focus on when you're pitching?
I like to focus on my catcher and the spots she's giving me and just staying tight and having fun with it.
Gotcha. And that's one thing where you kind of got to stay loose as well. You can't be thinking about too much or have too much going on, so it's good to kind of see that you kind of feel that same way. You just kind of got to relax, have fun up there as well. So great to hear. Talk to me offensively. How do you think you've done kind of this year batting up at the plate?
I think I've done pretty good this year. I think it can get better too, just improve in our last couple of games. We have a good chance of winning them. So.
Gotcha. What do you think is a real strength of either your batting game or kind of the team's offense this year?
I think our strength is kind of our base running and reading each other and kind of knowing our own speed too.
Yeah, kind of when you are able to get on, able to also kind of go station to station around the bases too. Awesome. Talk to me any goals you have either for yourself from a team standpoint this year.
Just some goals for the team would be to start winning some games and finish the year strong.
Absolutely. And baseball and softball are one of those unique sports where you're guaranteed the playoffs, so it's one of those things where it doesn't matter kind of how you do during that regular season. It all comes down to playing the best softball at that right time. So now, Carter, obviously, you're a senior as well, so what are we doing here come fall?
This fall, I'm going to start at DMAC and study elementary education.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Carter, wish the best of luck. Thanks so much for chatting with me, and the best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Carter Heemer, another senior. All righty, our next Falcon. Who am I speaking with?
Jocelyn Meyer.
Jocelyn, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Awesome. Doing great. So kind of introduce yourself, parents, where you're from, how old you are.
My parents are Chad and Christine Meyer. I'm from Anthon, Iowa, and I'm 18 years old. I'm a senior.
Awesome. So another senior. You guys seems like you have kind of a big group of seniors here. Talk to me a little bit about. Oh, that's a wasp, and it's outside the window. Good to hear. Anyway, talk to me a little bit about kind of the relationship between you and your fellow seniors.
We're all pretty close. We've been together for a long time now, working together, and just kind of we know how each other work on the field and know each other pretty personally off the field as well. So.
Sure. Did you play any other sports here at OABCIG besides softball?
I played golf.
Gotcha. So, well, that's one of those things where you kind of play different sports, but different sports with probably some of the same people. And awesome. Great to hear. So, talk to me kind of defensively where you're at.
I play second base.
Gotcha. So, second base. Now, that one, obviously one of the two middle infielders. To me, second base, shortstop have to kind of be on the same page at all times, have to know who's covered the base, who's responsible, and that sort of thing. How's your relationship with the shortstop, would you say?
Pretty good. Right now our shortstop is a freshman most of the time, so it's kind of new, getting to know her some and working together, but we make sure that we go over those kind of middle infield plays together during practices. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure she's kind of thankful that the person across the bag is, an experienced senior that kind of, I'm sure, and all the freshmen are maybe nervous coming out here for the first time, especially up here at the high school level, so I'm sure she finds some comfort in having you across the bag. Now, talk to me kind of what you have coming up here this fall.
I'm going to South Dakota State University majoring in studio art. So.
Awesome. Great to hear. So, Jocelyn, thanks so much for chatting with me, and best of luck the rest of this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Our next Falcon, who am I speaking with?
Justice Deshawn.
How are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. Great to hear. So, let's start by introducing yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
Okay. Well, my name is Justice. My parents are Carrie and Patrick Arms. I am 18 years old, and I live in Ida Grove. I'm not actually from Iowa, but that's where I live now.
Awesome. Great to hear. So, a lot of seniors here on the team. I'm kind of surprised. It's kind of unique when you can get a team with so many seniors. What's kind of your thoughts on how you guys have done so far this year?
Well, this year, I feel like there's definitely been room for improvement.
Sure.
But mentality-wise, I think this is probably the best that we've been throughout, all 5 years playing high school ball here. And we try to keep each other's energy up a lot.
Sure. And that's one of those things, baseball and softball are almost as much mental as they are physical. You can have all the talent in the world and be the best player, but if your mind's not in it and you can't stay in the game, then you're not going to be successful. So it's great to see that you guys kind of have that part, definitely. So talk to me positionally, kind of where you're at.
So this year I've done right field and DP, but in the past I used to play center a lot, left, and then second and third of a little bit. So.
Gotcha. I mean, talk to me about that right field position, because it seems, especially kind of at that younger level, that there's a lot of misconceptions. You kind of just get tossed out into right field there. But, I mean, especially at the high school level, if you have an effective pitcher who could pitch good fastballs, the right-handed batters are going to be behind, and they're coming to right field. So, I mean, tell me a little bit about kind of playing right field for you this year.
I feel like I've heard some people say, like, oh, right, I like it or I don't, just because, like, nothing really happens there. But, like, it can.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready for it if
Yeah,
it does.
absolutely. So. It's one of those things where, yeah, it could just be a given night. You can face a team with a whole bunch of lefties, and they could be pulling it your way, or you can have your pitchers pitching lights out, and their batters are late on the ball and coming to right field anyway. So, talk to me now, batting. How do you think you've kind of done throughout this year?
If I'm going to be honest, I feel like this year's been a little shaky for me. I've definitely done better in some past games, like even, let's say, like junior year versus this year, but then there's some days where I did really good. I almost got a home run this year. It hit the top of the fence in Lawton, so that's kind of sad.
Hit the top of the fence?
Yeah,
No.
they had like this cover, I don't know,
Yeah.
on the top of it, and it hit it. And I
So
was
maybe
like, oh.
without the cover, we may be talking home run
Maybe.
here. Who knows? I gotcha.
It's always almost.
Yeah, true. So it seems like, you've got some things you need to work on. And in baseball and softball, one of those sports, very streaky. You could be very good, then very bad, then very good again. So kind of just trying to get consistent, I'm sure. Talk to me a little bit about your plans coming up this fall.
I am going to attend Wayne State College in Nebraska. It's a 4-year, and I'm majoring in psychology, and plan to be a clinical or child and adolescent psychologist.
Awesome. Seems like you got kind of a clear path ahead of you, and you're ready to go. So, Justice, thanks so much for chatting with me, and the best of luck the rest of this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. And our next Falcon here, we're rolling right through the team. Got a big team here today, but it's awesome to have all these guys to talk to. Who am I chatting with now?
My name is Kenai Nielsen, and I'm a senior.
Awesome. So, again, another senior. Why don't you kind of, for those who aren't familiar with you, let's go your parents and where you're from.
My parents are Jason and Andrea Nielsen, and I'm from Battle Creek.
Gotcha. So, another senior. Talk to me kind of where you're at positionally on defense.
I'm the first baseman.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a big role on the team. Obviously, anything that's on the infield's coming to you, most likely, whether, right at you or from one of your teammates. So kind of talk to me about your philosophy on first, what you kind of feel that position is.
You have to put a lot of trust in your teammates to field it and make that throw. And you also have to make your teammates trust you that you can catch their throws even if they're wild or not.
Sure.
So I'll do the splits a lot for that.
I like it. Love it. All right, so talk to me kind of offensively. How has your bat been this year, would you say?
Pretty good. I bat cleanup most times in the lineup, so I mean, I've definitely had a few get away from me.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning, but
Sure.
yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. Talk to me about any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint this season.
For myself, really, it's just keep things clean on my side and communicate the best I can. Because if it's hit in not my direction and it's not a first baseman's catch, then you really got to be the one to communicate to your team.
Sure. And my thing is it seems like you guys have a very, very large senior class, so as a result, next year is going to look a lot different. So talk to me from a standpoint of what you've seen from maybe some of the younger kids. Do you feel that, next year are the Falcons in good hands still?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I
gotcha.
definitely feel like the younger kids will get there. There's
Gotcha.
some really good ones coming up.
Seen some good things and some
Yeah,
promising
yep.
ones? Awesome. Great to hear. Always great to hear. Talk to me about your plans coming up this fall.
My plans, I will attend Morningside University. I will be playing softball there, and
Awesome.
I'll be majoring in biopsychology.
Awesome. Well, we wish you the best of luck there at Morningside, and the best of luck in your future endeavors. Thanks so much
you.
for chatting.
Thank you.
All righty. Our next Falcon, who am I speaking with?
I'm Kylie West.
Kylie, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome, doing great. So, kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
Okay. I'm Kylie West. My parents are Chad and Christine Meyer. I live in Anthon, and I am 17 years old.
Gotcha. So, are you going to be a senior this year?
No, I'm a senior now.
Gotcha.
Graduated.
So, you did graduate. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, wow, a lot of you guys on the team. I mean, maybe 7 of you, 8 of you, maybe?
think
Something
7.
like that. 7. Gotcha. That makes sense. So, talk to me kind of positionally where you're at on the field.
I catch.
Gotcha. So catcher. talk to me about that one. That's obviously very, very unique, kind of the only person facing that other way, have a full view of your teammates and kind of have to be that communication person. So what are your thoughts?
It does get hard, especially behind the plate when there's nothing I can do besides just yell,
Sure.
try and help out a little bit. But I think it's good.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I
Great
do.
to hear. How's your kind of offense gone, your batting and that sort of thing this year?
Offensively, isn't bad. I do tend to hit the ball directly to the outfielders, though, which isn't the most helpful.
Gotcha. Well, that's one of those things where it's going to happen, right? Even if you're only succeeding 30% of the time, that's a great batting average. So just hitting it to some people, it's going to happen. Hopefully you can kind of get some gaps coming up here the rest of the season. Talk to me about any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team perspective this season.
I really hope to just keep my head up and keep playing where we need to be.
Awesome. Love it. Kylie, what are your plans coming up this fall?
I'm going to USD in the fall, majoring in kinesiology.
Awesome. Go Yotes. Alrighty.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Kylie. I appreciate chatting with me. Best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was senior Kylie West. And now going to pass the mic to the next Falcon. Alrighty. And who am I speaking with?
DM Reese.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Awesome. Kind of introduce yourself to start off, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
My parents are Travis and Becky Reese. I'm 17 and I live in Oldie.
Gotcha. So are you going to be a senior this upcoming year?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So probably all through the seniors, tons and tons of seniors. So talk to me a little bit about how they have kind of been. You've been with the group of seniors that are now for a few years now. So how have they been in your experience?
They're very motivating. Like, they definitely want to help us become better so they can leave that in our hands this next summer. So.
Sure, kind of pass the torch, if you will, on to the next class. Love it. Talk to me about kind of positionally where you're at on defense.
So I'm actually the designated hitter, so I just like that, basically.
Yeah. I mean, talk to me a little bit about that, because that's something that, people don't always realize how challenging that is to, half the time or more than half the time you're not doing anything. You're not up to bat and you're kind of waiting for your turn. So how do you kind of stay engaged and stay focused in the game?
So I kind of like when we are playing out on the field, like I'm just making sure I'm cheering on them, staying locked in, trying to cheer them up to keep me hyped up.
Yeah.
And then when I'm up to bat, I'm just like making sure I'm staying locked in is the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, especially if you get kind of an upperclassman that's kind of in the dugout, it's kind of an advantage because you can, like you said, kind of keep everyone going and kind of keep the spirits up. I like to hear it. So talk to me about your batting. How do you feel like that's been going this year, or your thoughts on that offensively?
It's kind of up and down sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has their days.
Sure.
But I guess when I'm up, I try to stay confident as I can. Sometimes I'm topping the ball, hitting it right to them.
Sure.
But
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's such a streaky sport, right? You could be, bad for a while, and then you can be so good for a long time, and then kind of back down. So obviously trying to keep it more a little bit consistent right in the middle, I'm sure. Talk to me about any goals you have, either for yourself or for the entire team the rest of this season.
My biggest goal for the team is just to make sure that we're all like hyping each other up, staying close. Like, we don't want our team to fall apart, so just make sure we're hyping each other up.
And I really do like that, because baseball and softball almost as much mental as they are physical. So you need to kind of keep your mind engaged in the game as well. So I'm sure you definitely help with that, and it is a goal for you guys, I'm sure. So awesome. Thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it, and have a good rest of your season.
You too.
Thank you. That was DM Reese. Alrighty, who am I speaking with?
Hallie Montgomery.
Hallie, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome, doing great. So tell me a little bit who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, to kind of start us off here.
My parents are Rachel Berenson and Charlie Montgomery. I'm 17 and I'm from Ida Grove, Iowa.
Gotcha. So gonna be a senior
Yes.
this upcoming year? Gotcha. So another kind of upperclassman on the team. How do you feel like it's been this year? Maybe kind of the first year in that upperclassman role. How have you kind of embraced that leadership role this year?
Just talking to the younger classmen and just getting them where we are.
Sure. Yeah, kind of helping them along.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where, I've done a lot of these meet the teams, and I talked to the freshmen or the eighth graders really, and it's like, they were so scared, but then it's like they get here and everyone's just super helpful, which is how it's supposed to be. Everyone, you guys were in that position once, obviously, and now kind of passing the torch down to them as people did once to you. So talk to me defensively. Where are you at positional wise?
So I'm actually out from an ACL tear.
Gotcha.
But I used to play shortstop.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so when did this injury happen? Was it at the beginning of the season? Was it even before softball?
It was basketball season.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So kind of on the road to recovery here, and I'm sure getting better and better and better as each day. What's kind of the next sport you anticipate kind of being healthy for here? Basketball?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome. So I'm sure that's a goal for you to kind of keep the rehab going and get healthy for your next sports season. What about a goal kind of from the entire team for the rest of this season, would you say?
Finish out strong and
Awesome.
keep supporting each other.
Yeah, love it. All right. Thanks so much for speaking with me. I appreciate it, and best of luck the rest of this season.
Thank you.
All righty. All right, who am I speaking with?
Anna Hoffman.
Anna, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Awesome, doing great. So tell me a little bit about yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, that sort of thing.
My parents are Aaron and Jen Hoffman. I'm 17, and I live outside of Ida Grove.
Gotcha. So, Anna, are you going to be a senior then?
Yes.
Gotcha. So, you guys have a lot of upperclassmen on the team, and that's something that, not all teams have, and it's a super good thing. So, talk to me a little bit about kind of the small school atmosphere. It seems to me that a lot of you guys play a lot of different sports together, and so is that kind of an advantage as opposed to maybe a bigger school where you'd only play one sport?
Yeah, because it helps people know each other, so
Sure.
that you don't have to be all strangers when the season starts.
Sure.
You're just for friends.
There's really no beginning or end to the competitive nature. It's just you're competing year round, and with the same teammates, it's always a plus. So tell me kind of defensively where you're at in the field.
I play left field.
Gotcha. So kind of that second hot corner, as they call it out there in left field. Anything that's obviously gets past the third baseman, over the third baseman's head's coming right to you. So kind of what's your thoughts on playing left field?
Just hope to catch the ball and get it in if it comes to me.
Sure. Awesome. Now talk to me offensively. How do you feel like your bat's been doing this year?
I started off the season pretty good, and now I'm a little struggling, but it's
Gotcha.
okay.
Have you been able to really identify anything that you are trying to work on at this point, or things that you need to kind of change up a little bit?
I've hit a lot of grounders, so I'm just working on hitting line drives.
Gotcha. Awesome. And it's one of those things where you can't really fix your issue until you know what it is, so it's clear that you kind of have a clear path of knowing what you need to do to make adjustments. Talk to me any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint the rest of this season.
I just hope that I can finish the season strong, and so can the rest of the team, and that we can just stay together and have fun.
Awesome. Anna, thanks so much for chatting with me, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that was Anna Hoffman. And now passing the mic to the next OABCIG Falcon. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. And what's your name?
My name is Stella Reamer.
Awesome. Great to meet you. And first, kind of introduce yourself for our viewers and listeners who aren't familiar with who you are. Let's start with who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
My parents are Dan and Renee Reamer. I am 15 years old, and I'm from Ida Grove.
Awesome. So 15, are you going to be a junior or going to be a sophomore?
I'm going to be a junior.
Going to be a junior. Gotcha. So just kind of finished up your sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
Now tell me kind of your third year on the team, kind of how has it been so far? I'm sure those first couple years were kind of just getting adjusted, and now kind of feel like you're in the swing of things fully, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Awesome. Talk to me positionally, kind of what positions you play.
So I pitch.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you like that? I mean, what's really your strengths as a pitcher when you do get in the circle?
I feel like, I don't know, just staying in control of yourself and
Sure.
pitching.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where you're going to have bad pitches, and everyone does. So when they happen, you kind of have to keep composed and stay in control, and it's great to see that you feel confident in your ability to do that. Talk to me offensively. How's the bat been this year?
I actually don't bat.
Gotcha.
I'm
okay.
just the flex position. So
Gotcha.
pitch,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So really don't even have to worry about that
Yeah.
part. So awesome. Great to hear. Any goals that you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint?
I think winning, definitely.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And then for pitching, just throw strikes.
Yeah, right. And it's one of those things where sometimes people think a good pitcher is a pitcher that gets a lot of strikeouts. I think not necessarily. It's a good pitcher throws strikes and allows the defense to kind of work behind her as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great to see that that's kind of your vision and your focus. So, Stella, thanks so much for chatting with me. Wish you the best of luck this year.
Thanks.
And that was Stella Reamer. So now she's going to pass the headset to our next Falcon here coming up. All righty. All right, who am I speaking with?
Billy Oxendale.
How are you doing?
Good.
Awesome.
Really hot though.
Awesome. Yeah, it is kind of a humid one out here, even though the sun's not particularly out, kind of cloudy, but still a little hot as well. So why don't you start by kind of introducing yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
I'm Billy Oxendale. I already said that. My dad is David Oxendale. My mom's Melissa Oxendale. I live in Arthur, Iowa.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Talk to me positionally where you're at on defense.
I normally play left field.
Gotcha. So that's another one of those positions, and especially in the outfield, kind of that second hot corner, as they call it. Obviously, anything that gets past the third baseman, over the third baseman, is coming right to you. So what are your thoughts on how you play left field?
You just have to be ready all the time, like on the balls of your feet. You have to be you have to keep your head in the game, because if you get your head out of the game, you're gonna miss something, and then the ball's gonna be past you, and they're gonna be getting too many runs. So it's just staying focused, watching the game.
Awesome. Talk to me about how your bat has been going. How do you feel like you do on the offensive side of things?
I think I can bat better. I've had a couple really good hits this year. I would like to bat better. Normally I can hit the ball. It just all the time they just get it right back at first, and so I need to work on hitting it harder and getting some line drives, not just grounders. Gotcha.
Maybe hard on a line, something like that, not so much weak grounders. I like that kind of goal from you. Any other goals you have, either from yourself or from a team standpoint this year?
Just to have fun and really find joy in it. It's been stressful these past couple years, and we're turning a new page, and it's turning to a different program, which is really good. And I think in doing that, winning more and getting lessening our errors and just enjoying the game.
Yeah, and it's a process too, right? It's not going to happen overnight. It's kind of a building block, step by step, kind of year after year type of process. So it's good to see that you kind of realize that and are glad to be a part of it regardless. So thanks so much for chatting with me, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of this year.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Alrighty. Our next Falcon, who am I chatting with?
Haley Bender.
How are you doing?
Good, you?
Awesome, doing great. So kind of for our viewers and listeners who aren't familiar with who you are, why don't we start with who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from?
My parents are Roger and Chandra Bender. I'm going to be a sophomore. I'm going to be a junior. I'm 16.
Gotcha.
And I live here in Battle Creek.
Awesome. So tell me now, Haley, what positionally kind of defense
I
where you play?
both center field and third base.
Gotcha. So which one would you say you maybe prefer? Or
third base.
Third base, definitely. Gotcha. So talk to me a little bit about third base. Now that's one where high workload, a lot of volume coming your way. So it seems like that's kind of a position that you're excited to play and that you're kind of want the ball hit to you. Is that right?
I like the action that I get, but it's not too stressful like shortstop. I have easier covering, but I still get to field.
Yeah, awesome.
Whereas center is just, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of running.
Gotcha. Maybe you will, I'm sure you're willing to do whatever to make the team successful, but if you had to choose, I'm sure at the hot corner, awesome. Talk to me offensively. How do you feel like your bat's been this year? What's a strength or something that you've kind of wanting to be getting better at?
I think it's been a lot better. We've been learning not a new way to hit, but we've been improving a lot. So it's been a bit hard for everyone to adjust. But I think that it's definitely better than last year. Because every year you're going to get better.
Sure.
And I feel like a goal batting would be to probably stop shying away from getting hit by the ball.
There we go.
Because, I do want to hit, but sometimes I should just wear it.
Yeah. No, well, that's one of those things where it could be strategic in a way too. Maybe if you're down in the count, you take it. Maybe if you're up in the count, it's like, hey, we want to see a little better pitch to hit. So it can be situational in that way, but just kind of, I'm sure, is part of the process, kind of getting better and getting more knowledgeable about situations and that sort of thing. Now, talk to me about any goals you have, either for yourself, from a team standpoint this year, kind of your thoughts on the near future.
I think my biggest goal would probably be making the varsity lineup in general, whether it be just designated person in any way, just making the lineup.
Gotcha. Just kind of any way contribute to the success kind of at the varsity level. Awesome. Great to hear. Well, thanks for chatting with me, Haley. I appreciate it, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Haley Bender. So now we're going to have our next Falcon up at the plate, if you will. Who am I speaking with?
Jaylee Williams.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. Doing great. So why don't you start us off with introducing yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
Okay, my name is Jaylee Williams. My parents' names are Josh Williams and Alicia Burgess. I am 15. I'll be 16 in August, and I'm from Ida Grove.
Gotcha. So, gonna be a sophomore?
I'm gonna be a junior.
Gonna be a junior. Gotcha. I can never figure that out. Age to what grade you're in or what you're gonna be. Awesome. So, gonna be a junior this year. Gotcha. So, kind of third year on the team up here at the high school level. I'm sure kind of those first couple were just getting adjusted and getting used to things, but now I'm sure this year can kind of expand a little bit on your play. So how have you been doing this year kind of overall?
I just got back to playing last week because I've been off on an injury, so
Gotcha.
I haven't played in any games or anything. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What was the injury, or what did we have going on?
It was just my knee locked up and I bruised the inside.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we're all good, healed up for that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, anything, talk to me defensively, kind of your positions or what you would consider kind of your role on
I've
defense.
been playing second base while we practice, so that's like all I've been doing basically.
Gotcha. Talk to me about kind of one of those middle infielder positions, and to me, second base and shortstop, you have to kind of know each other really well and kind of know what each other are going to do, who's got the bag, and communicate. So how do you feel your kind of relationship are with the shortstops when you're on second base?
We have really good communication. Like, there's certain shortstops that have really good communication and they know what they're talking about.
Awesome. Great to hear. Any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint, the rest of this year?
Just to have fun and enjoy each other, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's sometimes it doesn't have to be such an elaborate thing. It's just, let's have fun and enjoy yourself, because it's as much about that as it is about winning also. So, awesome. Great to speak to you, and the best of luck here the rest of this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. And who am I speaking with?
Janessa Kohler.
Janessa, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. Doing great. So tell us a little bit about yourself for our viewers and listeners who aren't familiar with who you are. Let's go with who your parents are, where you're from, how old you are.
I am Janessa Kohler. I am a freshman. My mom is Tiffany, and then my dad is Brady Kohler.
Gotcha. So going to be a sophomore this year? Gotcha.
Sophomore.
Going to be a sophomore. Gotcha. So now kind of year number 2. Did you play last year as an 8th grader as well? Gotcha. So year number 2 on the team. How do you feel like you've kind of gotten better from year 1 now to year 2?
I feel like I'm just more like competitive and just more ready to go now that I've been playing for a year.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where it's the same ball, same glove, same bat as it is, down in middle school, but it's just a different speed. Everything's a little bit faster, more competitive, so you kind of feel like you've been able to compete maybe a little bit more now in your second year around. Awesome. Talk to me kind of defensively, position-wise, where you're at.
I play right field or any outfield position that needs to be filled, basically.
Gotcha. Talk to me about kind of, regardless of what position it is in the outfield, what's kind of one thing in your mind that's most important to always remember or to just make sure you do in the outfield?
Just to be ready, because anything can happen. Anything can go out to me, and just got to be ready for anything.
Gotcha. Always know kind of where you're going to go. Maybe even before the pitch happens, just always be thinking, if this comes to me, I'm going here. If this goes here, I'm going here, that sort of thing. Talk to me about, obviously being a right fielder. That's also kind of a unique spot. You're backing up first a lot, I'm sure, finding yourself doing that. And that's one of those things where, 9 times out of 10, you do it and nothing happens. The first baseman gets it, but it's that one time that they miss it and you're there, it can make a big difference. So kind of talk to me about that aspect of your game.
It definitely gets very exhausting at times.
Yeah. When you're there to save that, runner to advance, it's all worth it, I'm sure. Talk to me offensively. How do you feel like your bat's been this year?
Not as good as I wish it would be, but I don't know, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always room for improvement, right?
Yeah.
And especially it's one of those things where, especially in baseball and softball, tons of room to improve and always room for improvement. Any goals you have, either for yourself or for the entire team, that you're really looking to get accomplished this year?
As a team, I'm just hoping we come together and win out some more games as the season goes on and as it comes to an end, but just win more games.
Sure. Well, and it's one of those things, I feel like softball and baseball are unique in the fact that you are guaranteed the playoffs regardless of kind of how your season goes. So, I mean, it's really the season's kind of a wash, and it's you got to be playing your best softball when that game comes. So great to hear that that's kind of a goal in mind that you guys have. So awesome. So Janessa, thanks so much for chatting with me, and the best of luck the rest of this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Janessa Kohler. All righty. Our next Falcon, who am I speaking with?
Ireland Whitrock.
Ireland, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. So why don't you start by introducing yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, things like that.
I'm Ireland. My parents are Matthew and Jackie Whitrock, and I'm going to be a sophomore.
Gotcha. Going to be a sophomore. So I want the same question. Kind of first year as an 8th grader. Were you on the team last year?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So now first year, now kind of year 2.
Yeah.
What are some things that you feel like you've really gotten better at this second year?
I feel like my fielding has gotten a little better, and my bat to the ball has gotten really better, and I've gotten better hits.
Gotcha. Kind of maybe more powerful hits and stronger at bats.
Yeah.
Things like that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Talk to me positionally, kind of where you're at.
I play shortstop.
Shortstop. Gotcha. So that's one, obviously, kind of a leader of the infield there. Very, very high workload at shortstop. A lot of balls coming your way. Is that something you're confident with and you think you can do there at shortstop?
Yeah, I think I can do it.
Awesome. Great to hear. Now, talk to me batting-wise. How do you feel like you've done there? Now, you've kind of said you've been making some more solid contact. Is that kind of was it a purposeful change that you did you make some adjustments, or is it just something you kind of find yourself kind of getting hot right now?
Going into the year, I knew I needed some improvements, and with the coach's help, I found the improvements, and I've changed my swing, and I've gotten it to become better to where I hit balls better.
Gotcha. Was it something mechanically with the swing, or was it a mentality about your swing?
It was more mechanically than anything.
Gotcha. So maybe make a little tweak and adjustment, and I'm sure kind of have to get used to that, obviously, and then can start doing well as well. Awesome. Any goals you have, either for yourself or for the team the rest of the season this year?
Hopefully the team keeps coming together and we find a way to win out the rest of the season.
Yeah, awesome. Great. Ireland, thanks so much for chatting with me, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Ireland Whitrock. All righty. And who am I chatting with?
Leah Hansen.
Leah, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Awesome, doing great. So let's start, same thing. Who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
My parents are Chris and Paige Hansen. I'm going to be a sophomore. I'm 15 years old.
Gotcha.
From Oldie.
Gotcha. So going to be a sophomore this year. Obviously, were you on the team last year?
Yes.
Awesome. So talk to me a little bit about kind of the comparison between that first year up here at the high school level and now kind of where you're at now. Do you feel like there's been some improvement since last year?
Yeah, there's definitely been an improvement. I think I've gotten much closer with all my teammates too, which is really good, and that helps us. I don't know. I think it just all brings us together.
Yeah, sure.
It makes it more fun too.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me defensively. Kind of what positions you play or where you're at.
I'm a catcher, and
Gotcha.
and with the help of my coaches, I've definitely gotten better. I think.
Gotcha.
So
I mean, talk to me a little bit about that spot. Very, very unique. You're kind of the only person facing that other way and have a full comprehensive view. And I also kind of have to be that communicator and that voice. So tell me your thoughts on the catcher position.
I can see the whole field, and whenever the ball gets hit, I always have to be ready. I feel like I always have to be talking too.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Just kind of, I'm sure, pride yourself on being a communicator out there when you do get behind the dish. Awesome. Talk to me, kind of, how has your bat been this year and your batting?
I think it's been pretty good. Definitely improved from last year, and definitely got more confident, and definitely mentally stronger. I think.
Well, and that's one of those things, especially at bat. It's almost as much mental as it is physical. You have to believe you can hit. You have to want to hit, and if you do, you'll be surprised you're gonna hit a lot more. So it's kind of weird like that. Once you kind of figure that out, it is weird. Once you figure that out in your mind, it's like it's revolutionary almost. So awesome. That's great to kind of see that you've kind of made that discovery. Any goals you have, either for yourself or from the team?
Probably just to hopefully win more games, and then keep communicating, keep being close with each other, and just having a good relationship with my teammates, I think. So.
Awesome. I love it. Love the goal. So, Leah, thanks for chatting with me, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
That was Leah Hansen. Now our next Falcon here. Who am I speaking with?
Katie Todd.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Awesome. Great to hear. So, had to start by introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, and where you're from.
My parents are Jeanette and Robbie Todd. I'm from Ida Grove, and I'm going into my sophomore year.
Gotcha. So now year 2 on the team, obviously. So any improvements kind of that you've noticed in your game from that first year to now your second year?
I've noticed that I've generally become a lot more open to playing various positions.
Yeah.
Last year, I mainly just stuck with the positions that I played throughout, majors and minors. But this year, I've been a lot more open to trying out wherever the coaches think they need me.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things where, especially, as a young person on the team, that's an easy way you can get up to, the varsity level, being kind of willing to do whatever it takes. And, kind of wherever I need to be put, that could be where I am. So that's great to kind of see that you've noticed that improvement so far. Now talk to me about what positions you play.
Well, last year I played a mix of second base and outfield, but this year I've mainly been playing right field and a little bit of various outfield positions, but mainly right field.
Gotcha. Has that kind of been a difficult adjustment? I know from kind of going from infield maybe to the outfield, was there a little bit of a learning curve there, or with the help of your coaches and teammates, did you find it relatively easy?
I mean, I had played briefly in the outfield before, so I kind of understood the positions a bit. There was a bit of a learning curve, obviously when you used to play infield, it's like you understand you're a lot more involved in the actual gameplay, and you're a lot more like in the moment with it, which I think has actually helped my outfielding a bit because I have like a decent understanding about what the actual infielders are going to, what their next plays may be, and that can help a lot when I need to like back up a play.
Yeah. So you almost feel that since you have played infield, that helps you play outfield.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I gotcha. I've never really thought about that before, but makes total sense. Like you said, kind of you've been an infielder. You know what they're thinking. You may be knowing where they're going or where they may need help backing up and that sort of thing. Right field also is extremely important for backing up that first base. So, and it's one of those things where, 9 times out of 10, you go to back up and nothing happens. The first baseman catches it or it's a successful out, but it's that one time that the ball does get away that, if you're there to stop it, you can kind of be a big help to your team. So what are your thoughts on that aspect of right field?
Well, personally, I actually find it kind of fun to back up the bases because that not only helps you get more involved with the play, but I personally have like the mindset that in every single play I need to be moving somewhere, and having those clear places to back up and clear places to be in each play helps a lot when you are in that mindset.
Yeah, and like you said, it's one of those things. I'm sure it helps you to know what you're doing, even if it's all it is running to back up first base. It is still, what you're doing, and you have a clear plan for what's going to happen once they hit the ball or once the ball's pitched. Any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint, the rest of this season?
For the rest of the season, I really just want to see our team continue to stay positive and optimistic we have a lot of curveballs thrown our way. We have a lot of, things that we can't really do to improve at all, like just unfortunate plays. But a lot of times I feel like having the mindset that even when those plays happen, we're still in a winning mindset. We're still not beating up ourselves. We're still positive. I feel like that really helps our team stay in that optimistic mindset that helps win.
Yeah, I honestly could not agree with you more. Very well put there, and super underrated aspect of the game too, kind of that mental side and keeping your head in the game, staying confident, things like that. So it's great to see that you kind of realize the importance of that, and those are some of your goals. Awesome. Thanks for chatting with me, and wish you the best of luck the rest of the season, also your future seasons.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Our next Falcon. And who am I chatting with now?
Casey Devine.
Casey, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Awesome, doing great. So why don't we start with introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
Okay, I'm Casey Devine. My parents are Christopher and Kristen Devine, and I'm from Ida Grove, Iowa.
Awesome. So from Ida Grove, cool. Why don't you kind of let us know what positions you play out on the defense?
I usually play some various spots out in outfield, but I mostly like second base. I feel like I'm more into the game at second.
Gotcha.
But outfield is needed, so whenever I'm put out there, I'm definitely willing to do it.
Gotcha. Kind of have that mindset, whatever the team needs from you to be successful, you're kind of willing to go wherever.
Yep.
But if you had to pick, second base is maybe where you prefer. Awesome. Talk to me a little bit about second base. Now, obviously one of the two middle infield spots, and to me, whether you're at second or short, the second baseman and shortstop have to always be on the same page. You have to know who's covering the bag, who can get to what balls, if it's hit up the middle, and that sort of thing. So kind of talk to me about how you feel the relationship is between you and the various shortstops you may play with.
Well, I'm usually playing with either like one of like my friends that I'm used to like usually friends with everyone on the team, and I'm usually close with everyone. Yeah. So it's pretty easy to communicate and just like get to know like where they like to play and like what they like to back up more, and then like wherever the ball's hit, if it's down the middle, then we'll communicate on either like who's taking the base and like who's doing the cutoff and all that.
Yeah, awesome. Great to hear. Talk to me about your bat, kind of offensively. How do you feel like that's been this year? What do you think is a strength, or do you have anything that you're trying to improve on?
Well, definitely last year it wasn't going as what I wanted to do. So during the off season, I took some time and went to hitting practices, and I feel like it's definitely improved this year.
Good.
So it was like a couple mechanical skills that I need to fix, and then some mental changes.
Yeah.
Not going up to the plate and having so many things going through my mind.
Sure. And that's, it's one of those things where, that was one thing that I struggled with. It was like, what am I supposed to be thinking about when I'm up to bat? And they're like, nothing. Don't think when you're up to bat. Like, you practice, and you've done the practice and done the work. Now you just do it. And sometimes that's difficult, but when you figure that out, it's really a good recipe for success. Instead of having so many things
going through your mind, just do your job.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for chatting with me, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Now we'll take our next Falcon here up to bat, if you will. All righty. Who am I speaking with?
Tori Johnson.
How are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. So why don't we start off by tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's start with kind of for our viewers and listeners who aren't familiar with who you are. Let's go with who your parents are, because they might be familiar with them. How old you are, where you're from.
Okay. My parents are Troy and Kathy Johnson. I'm 14 years old, and I'm from Odebo, Iowa.
Gotcha. So 14. You're going to be a freshman this year?
Yep.
Awesome. So an 8th grader on the team. How has it been kind of this first year up at the high school level? Has it been a little bit different, or have you kind of found it relatively easy?
Well, it's definitely been different, but I feel like the older girls have really been really nice to us, incoming 8th graders or freshmen.
Yeah.
So it's been a good experience.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things where they've been in your same shoes and that sort of thing, and then eventually you'll be in their shoes and passing the information down to the kind of the next group. So it's great to hear that that's kind of the culture here. Talk to me. What positions do you play on the defense?
Normally I just play shortstop, so.
Gotcha. Now shortstop's one of those, you have a lot of balls coming at you, very high workload, a lot of activity at shortstop. Is that something you're confident with? Do you like all the balls that coming your way?
Yeah, I kind of like having the challenge.
Sure. Yeah. Gotcha. Awesome. Talk to me about your batting. How do you feel like that's been this year? Has it been kind of difficult up here at the high school level, or just give me kind of your thoughts?
Well, at the beginning of the season, I haven't been doing too well, but I feel like as the season went on and we got in the cage and started practicing, I feel like I've done way better.
Gotcha. Kind of have maybe gotten in the swing of things as the season has gone on. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Now, talk to me about any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint the rest of this season.
I feel like just doing better as a team in general. I mean, just like communicating and stuff like that.
Yeah, awesome. You got to stay communicating. You got to stay, together, and hopefully you guys can the rest of the season. So awesome. Thanks so much for chatting with me, and wish you the best of luck this year, and also the best of luck in your future years here at OABCIG. Thanks so much. All righty. That was one of our first 8th graders, so I think we're kind of down here to the 8th graders. And who am I speaking with?
Sage Rash.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Awesome. So let's kind of introduce yourself. Who are your parents? How old you are? Where you're from?
My parents are Scott and Stacy Rash. I'm 14 and I'm from Odebo, Iowa.
Gotcha. So you're going to be a freshman as well, I'm sure.
Yes.
Gotcha. So another 8th grader on the team. How has your experience been kind of this first year up at the high school level?
It's been like more challenging, but it's like helps like everyone kind of grow.
Sure.
And like we just like experience more and like be encouraged more by everyone.
Yeah, I like it. It's because it's one of those things. It's the same ball, it's the same glove, it's the same bat as it was in 8th grade, but it's just I feel like maybe a little bit faster. Things are happening a little faster. Things are going a little bit quicker. So I'm sure maybe a little bit of a curve, but I'm glad you kind of think you've adjusted to it. Talk to me about your positions. Where you find yourself out in the field?
I play first and second base.
Gotcha. First and second base. So talk to me about first base. What do you feel like is a real strength of your game at first?
I really feel like you get more like control because like more of the action will be coming towards you.
Sure. Gotcha. Kind of anywhere in the infield, it's most likely coming your way after it gets to one of your infielders, I'm sure. Talk to me batting. How do you feel like that's been this year?
I feel like it's been getting better since last year.
Gotcha.
And, like, the way the team's been, they've been helping encourage us. Like,
Yeah.
even if we don't do so well,
Yeah.
they'll help bring us back up.
Gotcha. Awesome. That's great to hear. Any goals you have, either for yourself or from a team standpoint, the rest of this year?
I just like the goals to, like, help keep encouraging each other
Yep.
and just help building each other up more.
Awesome. I love it. Thanks so much for chatting with me, and we wish you the best of luck here in your upcoming seasons. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Alrighty. Now, who am I speaking with?
Bria Harms.
Bria, how are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. Great to hear. Let's go ahead and introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
My parents are Sarah and Jimmy Harms. I'm 15 years old, and I'm from Oldebo, Iowa.
Gotcha. So another 8th grader, going to be a freshman this year. Kind of how has your experience been here on the team? Obviously, maybe a little different. Obviously, your dad's the coach. So how has it been kind of being under his tenure here as a player?
It's definitely been difficult, but he's been really pushing me, so I feel like I've been playing a lot better.
Sure. Awesome. Great to hear. Now, talk to me kind of where your position's at and that sort of thing.
I play about everywhere. I usually play center, short, or third, and sometimes I catch.
Gotcha. So really just wherever you need to go, kind of the utility player, maybe a little Swiss Army knife there, wherever you need to be. I like it. Where would you maybe prefer to go if you had the choice? What's your favorite position to play?
Usually center field. We've been having a lot of girls been hitting it more outfield than
Gotcha.
major minors last year.
Gotcha. So really center field, you like to kind of be that leading outfielder out there in center? Awesome. How's your bat been this year?
I've definitely been getting more aggressive throughout the season, working on my batting, changing my load to seeing more aggressive hitters or pitchers.
Yep.
The faster the pitches.
Yeah, just kind of have to make some adjustments this year, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Any goals you have, either for yourself or from an entire team standpoint this year?
Definitely as a team, getting more aggressive up at the plate.
Awesome.
Scoring more runs.
Gotcha. Just kind of be more effective offensively, maybe in your eyes. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, awesome. Bria, thanks so much for chatting with me, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Bria Harms. Alrighty. And who am I chatting with now?
Brianne Wilcox.
How are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. So why don't we start, kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
I'm Brianne, I'm 14, and my parents are Amber and Tim Wilcox, and
Gotcha.
I'm from Ida Grove.
Gotcha. So going to be a freshman this year, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Gotcha. How has your experience been here, kind of first year up at the high school level? Has it been difficult, or have you kind of found it a relatively easy transition?
Easy to transition
Yeah.
into it, yeah.
Easy, kind of? Yeah, exactly right. It's kind of the same sport, just maybe a little faster, but sure, easy to do. How have the seniors or maybe the upperclassmen, how have they been? Have they been encouraging? Have they helped you out?
They've been nice, yeah.
Awesome. Great to hear that. Because that's not how it always is, sometimes, but it's great to hear that, that's how it is here. Obviously, they were in your shoes once, and then you will be in their shoes eventually, so it's great to see that you guys have that mindset. Any goals you have, either for yourself or from the entire team this year?
Just to get more runs, and win, and in the outfield, just to get the ball and play.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, we wish you the best of luck in accomplishing those goals, and also the best of luck the rest of the season. Thank you. Alrighty. All right. Who am I speaking with?
Riley Lansing.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. Doing great. So why don't we start off, kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
My parents are Jody and Adam Lansing, and I'm from Arthur, and I'm 14.
Gotcha. So 8th grader, gonna be a freshman this year. Gotcha. So tell me how it's been in your experience, kind of the first year up at the high school level.
It's been good.
Gotcha.
The upperclassmen are really welcoming.
Gotcha. And has it been kind of a difficult transition or kind of an easy one?
It's been pretty easy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. Tell me about the positions you play out in the field.
I play catcher.
Gotcha. So that one's definitely unique. Kind of the only position you're kind of facing the other way, have that full view of the field, and I'm sure always have to be that communication kind of person on the field. So what are your thoughts on the catcher position?
It's really fun back there just to be able to see everything and always be making the plays. And
yeah. Awesome. How's your offense been going this year, your bat?
It's been going pretty good. It's gotten better over the season, for sure, and since last year.
Gotcha. One of those things where maybe as the deeper in the season you go, you kind of get more used to things, and I'm sure can get a little better as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any goals you have, either for yourself, from the rest of the team this year?
Definitely some batting, and then some on my catching and like my throw downs and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Just kind of trying to improve all around, it seems. Awesome. Great to hear. Well, thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it, and best of luck the rest of this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you can do this. Come on in. Everyone can do this. All right. Who am I chatting with?
Bailey Barber.
Bailey, how are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. Doing great. So why don't we start out for our viewers and listeners who aren't familiar with who you are. How about your parents, how old you are, where you're from?
Okay. I'm Bailey Barber. My parents are Erlene Ewell and Andy Barber. I'm 14.
Gotcha. Awesome. And so you're going to be a freshman this year? Gotcha. How has the experience up at the high school level here been for you?
I think it's a lot better with playing with high school, and the upperclassmen are really like encouraging and help a lot.
Gotcha. Sure, obviously a little bit more competitive up here than maybe down there at the minors and the major levels. So tell me what positions you play out in the field.
I play second.
Gotcha. So second base, obviously one of the middle infielder spots. What's one thing that you kind of always think's a good thing you got to think about when you're playing second base?
I just like when I get to when the ball's coming and.
Sure. Gotcha. Awesome. Great to hear. How's your bat been this year? Have you been doing well? Yeah, pretty good. Gotcha.
I've been getting better.
Awesome.
Through the games.
Kind of still can maybe feel yourself constantly improving, and that's perfectly that right now when you're this young, you're going to kind of see that rapid improvement. It's kind of when you get older, you maybe have to try to get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. So it's great to see that you're kind of, getting really, really better kind of this year. So any goals you have, either for yourself or for the team this year?
For the team, just to win some more games and.
Sure. Yeah, awesome. Sounds great to me. Wish you the best of luck with all your goals and also the rest of the season. Thanks so much, Bailey, for chatting with me. Alrighty. And now, who am I speaking with?
Elsie Lang.
Elsie, how are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. So why don't we start off and kind of introduce yourself for the viewers and listeners who aren't familiar with you. Let's go with who your parents are, because they might be familiar with who they are, where you're from, and how old you are.
Okay. My parents are Emily and Blake Lang. I'm from Odebo, Iowa, and I'm 14 years old.
Gotcha. So gonna be a freshman this year? Gotcha. So there's a lot of you 8th graders on the team. There really is. What's your experience with kind of your teammates, especially your fellow 8th graders? Are you guys close? Do you kind of know each and every one,
We all know each other.
Gotcha.
We're pretty close.
Gotcha. And it's one of those things to me, especially when you're at a small school, a lot of you guys, it seems, play different sports, but with the same people. So it's like you don't really have to, there's never really a stop to the competitive season. Elsie, why don't you tell me the positions you play?
I pitch.
Pitch. Gotcha. Awesome. So tell me a little bit about your kind of approach to pitching when you do get that opportunity to pitch in the circle. Something you always like to think about or just remember to...
I don't really think about much. I just try to pitch and just work on my fundamentals and
and that's you're not the first person that's told me that when I'm asking what do you think about. They're like, well, I don't think about anything. Like, you don't want to be thinking about too much. You just do your thing. So that's that. What about batting? Have you kind of seen improvements in your bat this year?
I've had a bunch of improvements this year.
Good, awesome. Kind of been hitting the ball more, a little harder, kind of everything in that regards.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, Elsie, any goals you have, either for yourself or for the entire team the rest of the season?
Just keep up our energy in the dugout and just try to win more games.
Yeah, awesome. Could not agree with you more. Thanks so much for chatting with me, Elsie. I appreciate it. Best of luck. Alrighty, that was Elsie Lang. Alrighty, and now who am I chatting with?
Kendra Corbin.
Kendra, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Awesome, doing great. So why don't we start off, kind of introduce yourself, who your parents are, how old you are, where you're from.
Kendra Corbin, my parents are Seth and Jamie Corbin, and I'm 14.
Gotcha.
And I'm from Ida Grove.
Gotcha, so going to be a freshman this year?
Yep.
Gotcha, awesome. How has kind of it been in your experience, the transition from 8th grade up here to freshman ball? Is it kind of been different?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a lot more competitive.
Sure, yeah. Maybe a little bit faster, the game. How have the seniors and the upperclassmen and the kind of other girls on the team been? Have they helped you with that adjustment at all? Awesome. Kind of been a helping hand along the way?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great to hear. Now, talk to me about the positions you play.
I'm a pitcher and third baseman.
Gotcha. So talk to me about that third base position. Now, that's the hot corner, as they call it. A lot of balls coming your way and coming your way pretty quick. Is that a spot you're confident with in playing?
Yeah.
Awesome. Gotcha. It's super comfortable over there, it sounds like. So tell me about your bat. How do you feel like that's been doing offensively this year?
Pretty good.
Gotcha. Awesome. And anything you're trying to, or maybe know that you're trying to work on or improve this season?
My pitching.
Gotcha.
And, yeah.
Awesome. Any goals you have for the entire team the rest of this season?
To keep winning and keep our energy up.
Awesome. Love it. Could not agree with you more. So, Kendra, thanks for chatting with me, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of this season. Thank you. Let's start off. Who am I speaking with?
My name's Caitlin Mullen.
Awesome. So, Coach, why don't you tell me a little bit about kind of how long you've been here with the program and maybe what your kind of role is here helping out Coach Harms?
So this is my first year with the program. I'm actually from the area, so I played for Maple Valley, graduated from there, went to Iowa Central, played 2 years of softball, got my degree, teacher over at the elementary school, and they reached out and they said, we need to fill a position, and I was all for it. I mean, I coach volleyball with the school, and got to kind of know Coach Harms over the winter and the preseason, and so I'm his assistant coach, so I'm in charge of our JVR and our JV, but I feel like him and I have a good relationship, and we kind of share that role across the board.
Sure.
He lets me take charge on some of those, but he has the final say on the varsity.
Sure. I mean, talk to me. It seems to me you have a very unique perspective, especially on the younger kids in the program, maybe the future of OABCIG. So what are some things that maybe you've seen from some of the younger kids that you're really pleased with or excited for the future?
I think we got some good talent coming up. A lot of these girls have a good work ethic. They want to get better,
Sure.
They give it their all, and most of the time they're here with a smile on their face, and they're laughing and giggling, and you can just tell that that's a good group of girls that wants to be here and wants to perform well. And especially at the JV level, we've played some tough games, and we've come out on top, and you can tell how much fun it is for them to be a part of that culture and that environment.
Sure. And I mean, the thing that I'm kind of, you guys have a lot of seniors on this squad, and so it's one of those things that next year the team's going to look a lot different, and some of these girls that maybe are playing the JV and the JVR are going to have to step up into some bigger roles. So, I mean, are there some kids that you really think here in the coming years are going to be capable to do that here for the Falcons?
I think so, and I think part of it too is confidence.
Sure.
I think we've got a lot of girls that have very good potential and very good talent. And when they get out of their own head and they get that confidence, like, I'm capable of doing this, I think it's going to make tremendous strides for this program.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that, especially when you're younger, you don't always think about. It's a super underrated, yet super important part of the game, almost as much mental as it is physical in that way. You have to want to hit, think you're going to hit, believe you're going to hit, and then odds are you do when that happens. So anything that you're kind of looking forward to past this year, kind of into the futures? I know you guys are kind of building something here, it seems. So anything you're excited for in the coming years of OABCIG softball?
I'm just excited to continue with the program and kind of build and, first off, put my foot into this community, because I'm not from here, I'm from Danbury, which is just a short 10, 15 minutes away, but still not being a part of this community and not knowing anybody, that's one thing I'm excited to get to know the parents, to get to know the students, to get to know, all the athletes.
Yeah.
And then on the softball side of it, getting to know, see our youth that's coming in and seeing the talent that we're bringing in. And for next year, how many of them are going to trust our process and trust our hitting philosophy. And who put the time and the effort in to be better and to make this program, better as itself.
And that's one thing I was talking to the girls, and, they were kind of talking about that, and I was kind of saying, it's a process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight or even over the course of one season. It's something that is kind of a culture that needs to be built, and to me it seems like you guys are definitely headed in the right direction. So we're definitely excited for what the future holds for OABCIG as well. So awesome. Thanks, Coach, for chatting with me, and wish you the best of luck the rest of the season and also kind of your future here at OABCIG. So thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome. All righty. Perfect. Thank you much. And now we're just waiting for Coach Harms to come up here, and then we're going to wrap things up. But a very, very successful Meet the Team so far here in Battle Creek. Alrighty, Coach, how are we doing this afternoon?
Good, how are you doing?
Awesome, doing great. So why don't we kind of start out, introduce yourself. How long have you been here with the program at OABCIG?
So this is, well, first of all, I'm Coach Jimmy Harm. My first year taking over the softball program. I was an assistant last year under Summit Nielsen
Gotcha.
To basically kind of, learn the ropes before I took over this year. So
Sure. So maybe first year kind of taken over, but with the program last year, what are some things this year that you guys have really think you've improved upon or gotten better at here in this season?
Well, you look at our record and we're 2-12 or 14. I'm not even sure. I don't try not to count the losses, but the girls have played really well for stretches. We always have an inning or two where we kind of just everything that can go wrong goes wrong for us. And I'm not sure if it's a lack of focus or just, prior years we haven't had a ton of success in this program, and it's the girls learning the culture of winning, learning how to play intense moments. We don't hit the ball particularly well at times, and so we talk about it all the time. If you're going to make mistakes in the field, you either got to make up for that with the bats. But if you're not going to hit the ball, then you've got to be perfect in the field.
Sure.
And you got to learn how to play in those 5-4 games or 6-4 games. And there's been really good teams that we've been either taking the lead or had the lead or close within a run or two into the 6th inning or 5th inning, and we just haven't been able to figure out how to close things out. So that was the thing that I really wanted to prove on moving from last year to this year, because I felt kind of the same last year. Like, we took some huge steps and some fundamental things last year. Girls got a year older. And so I was really excited on that aspect this year of taking over. Is we got a group of 7 seniors that have been in the program for 5 years now. And we've come a long ways, even though the record doesn't reflect that, but success isn't always measured with wins.
For sure.
The girls work hard. They got a good attitude. As you can see, you've been here the whole practice. We're constantly working on fundamentals. We're doing the right things. We just got to learn how to put it together out in the field.
Gotcha. And that's one of those things where it takes maybe a little bit of time to kind of learn how to win, like you mentioned.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the hardest things to teach.
Yeah.
You can teach fundamentals, you can teach the game, but teaching them softball IQ and knowing situations within a game, and then learning how to win. Any coach at any level will tell you that's anytime you take a program over that hasn't had much success, getting them to that level where they taste it a little bit and then want it.
Gotcha.
Is one of the hardest things you'll ever do in your coaching career.
Sure. And I mean, obviously, it seems like you kind of have a clear path and know what we need to get better on. Tell me a little bit, what are the strengths of the team this year, would you say?
Well, just the chemistry.
Yeah.
There's absolutely zero drama on this team. I mean, everybody deals with it a little bit, and sometimes there's an attitude thrown here or there when you're getting tired of losing.
Right.
But the girls generally care about each other. They're always supporting each other. The dugout energy is always good. They fundamentally defensive-wise, other than you take out an inning or two here or there, they're really good defensively.
Sure.
Team speed is another strength of ours. So, I mean, we're really close. We're right there. We just got to find a way to finish games.
Gotcha. And, I mean, like you mentioned, do have 7 seniors on the team this year, so even past the end of this season, then next year, squad's going to look a whole lot different than it does now. So, but kind of in the same breath, have a lot of 8th graders, have a lot of those younger kids on the team. So talk to me maybe something you're excited about here past the end of the season into the future of the program.
We've got some pretty promising talent here that's coming up through the ranks. Our 8th grade class, we have 11 in that class. I'm pretty sure that we'll keep most of them out all the way through. Things do change, but you'll keep a majority of those girls out. And there's a solid 5 or 6 girls in there that are just solid softball players. whether it's defensively or at the plate. They've had some success at the JVR level, and I'm really excited to see how they keep growing. But you mix that in with, it seems like Stella Reamer's been here for 12 years, but she's only a sophomore. And so she's got 2 more years after this, and she's, in my opinion, she's one of the best pitchers in the conference. She's right there with the best. And then you throw Elsie Lang, who's been gotten a little taste of the varsity action on the mound this year, but she throws really well. She's thrown well for us at the JV level and the JVR level. And then we have another pitcher, Lauren, who's not here. She's at a wrestling camp. You wouldn't have said that about girls 10 years ago, but now we compete with wrestling.
Yeah.
But she throws really hard. She may have the best fastball on the team. Got to work on her consistency of being in the strike zone a little bit more, but we'll definitely have pitchers to work with over the next 3 to 4 years. And you mix that in with, we got some freshmen and sophomores and juniors that'll be on that team next year that we will look a lot different, but there's going to be a lot of talent.
Right.
I feel like the key is how will they develop in the off season.
Sure. And to me, especially at a small school, it seems like a lot of these girls play different sports, but they do it together. They may be playing different sports, similar teammates, so that competitive nature never really dies year-round, like maybe it does at a big school. You only play softball. So obviously coming up next year, even though a team might look completely different on the softball diamond, it's folks that have been playing together.
Well, it starts with volleyball, right?
Yeah.
All these girls are off for volleyball. A good chunk of the girls that will make up the heart of the varsity team next year are off for basketball or wrestling, and so you've got to change the culture of our girls program, and it starts with volleyball, and then it goes to basketball, and then it goes to track, because we haven't had a ton of success with our girls program in all 5 sports for quite a while now, where we used to be very dominant down here at OABCIG. So. But with school sports, that's the ebbs and flows, right? Yeah. That's typical. You have years where you're going to be good, you're solid, and you're going to have years where you're down. Very rare you look around the state, do you have programs that are good at everything every single year? There's exceptions, but typically that's just in small schools, you're going to go through those ebb and flows. So that's where it starts with them. I see them every morning. During summer workouts, whether it's open gym, whether it's in the weight room, and it's more than just the softball field. It's I'm encouraging them there, pushing them there, get stronger, get faster, and hopefully that translates to more than just the softball field.
Awesome. Just got one last question for you, then we'll let you go. We want to kind of obviously know what you have coming up in the near future. So obviously Western Valley Conference competition there is over, but we still have some games coming up, and softball and baseball very unique where it just matters that you're playing the best softball at the right time. So kind of your thoughts moving forward from here.
That's the message I've been sending all year. This is the time of the year where we've got to be playing our best softball, and I think we're doing that. We just got to find a way to get that to go in the left-hand column and not the right-hand column. And that'll be the key over the next couple weeks, getting prepared if we want to let's just face it, our seed probably isn't going to be the best. And so if you want to make it to that second round or third round, you got to be playing your best softball. And then you got to have probably a couple things go right for you that night. But that's been our message, is let's be playing softball, our best softball at the right time of the year. And I think we're doing that. We're getting there. The girls, they have a great attitude. They want to win. They want it. Sometimes that's the hardest part, is getting them to want it. So they want it. It's just putting it all together. We have a huge opportunity ahead of us in the next 5 games to go get at least 4 of those, and finish out with 6 or 7 wins. And that would be huge for our program and then the momentum going into the tournament and next season.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, it seems like you guys kind of have a clear plan of what you want to do and where you want to go. So we wish you the best of luck here coming up the rest of this season, also in coming seasons. So thanks so much for hosting us here, and best of luck the rest of the year.
We appreciate your coverage. Thank you for coming down. I love talking about my girls and my program, and what better way to give them exposure than to do something like this. So.
Absolutely. We love to do it. And again, thanks so much for having us down here.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you for watching this exclusive broadcast on Fuller Digital Solutions. To receive notifications and links about your favorite team's live streams, join our text club by scanning this QR code or text the word on the screen to the number shown. If your business would like to be a sponsor on broadcasts like this, please reach out to us at fullerdigitalsolutions@gmail.com. Join us all year long for coverage of your favorite team on Fuller Digital Solutions.